Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you, Marty White. Also, our second 888 number is open, and we created the second number so it'd be easy for you to remember if you're driving down the road. 888 Car Clinic, that's 888 227-2546. Today, the North American International Auto Show is in full swing. It kicked off this week and features more than 500 vehicles on display and folks representing the most innovative designs in the world. And we have exciting interviews to share from some of the top industry insiders with topics ranging from luxury vehicles to standard cars, trucks, and, of course, electric vehicles. So you'll want to stay tuned. And just as a little reminder, last evening they had the gala event for the North American International Auto Show, $400 a person. It was for charity, raised $5.34 million. 13,350 tickets were sold. The Steve Miller Band was there. A little more about that a little bit later on. And your calls at 888 Car Clinic. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by General Tire. Anywhere is possible with a grabber line of light truck tires born from competition. Visit GeneralTire.com for more. That's GeneralTire.com for more details. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic also brought to you in part by Royal Purple, my choice for all synthetic oil and lubricants. Back with your calls at 888 Car Clinic. I'm Bobby Likis with today's Fact or Friction, brought to you by Royal Purple, the performance lubricants that outperform. Fact or friction? Additive packages are key in synthetic oil quality. Fact: of a quart of synthetic oil, 15 to 25% is its total additive package, including anti-wear agents, detergents, dispersants, and antioxidants. An oil's additive package does the heavy lifting, and ultimately its lubrication factor, friction, and heat reduction and ability to rev up performance are measures of an additive package's quality. Royal Purple's proprietary Cinelec technology was developed over years of rigorous testing and real-world use. Fact is, Royal Purple solved a vibration problem with the China Star 125-mile-per-hour bullet train. When choosing oil for your vehicle, consider Royal Purple high-performance motor oil. Visit RoyalPurple.com for all the Royal Purple advantages, then pick up Royal Purple today at Pep Boys. This mailbag is brought to you by K&N, the world's best air filter. Daryl from Oklahoma writes, I always hear you talking about K&N air filters, so I thought I'd get one for my Chevy pickup. When I went to the parts store, I saw a couple of other reusable filters in addition to the K&N. What makes K&N better than the others? Daryl, good question. A few other cleanable, reusable filters might be available for your Chevy truck, but only K&N has been around for 45 years, has a state-of-the-art filtration efficiency lab, and produces about 2.5 million filters a year. The K&N filters are made specifically for each application. For example, filters for a gas engine pickup are different than those for the diesel version. Different media and layers. Gas motors are typically 4-layered, and diesels are 6. Drive to knfilters.com, take a virtual tour, and find all the reasons why K&N is the world's best air filter. That's knfilters.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Geico Auto Insurance customers are frugal people. They value $1, and they save a lot of them by switching. To prove my point, I'm joined by a real live customer, Erica Willis. Erica, will you give me $10,000?
No.
There. Proof that Geico customers do not like to part with any more money than they have to. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. You could keep 15% or more of your money. 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
Home. It's the place you like to make warm and inviting. What could be more welcoming than the aroma of fresh coffee brewing? When the coffee is Starbucks, the experience only gets richer. You'll find Starbucks coffee at your grocery store, so you can enjoy it at home. Its distinctive roasting style and rich, authentic taste show how seriously we pursue the art of coffee. Savor its aroma, then pour a cup and invite your senses to take flight. Starbucks coffee at your grocery store.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And now let's get started with Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Last evening, I just want to share this with you. And for those of you who've just tuned in to our global cast, welcome. For those of you who are watching at Watch Bobby Live, we'd love to have you visit us every week. And for those of you who are not familiar with Bobby Likis Car Clinic, this program has aired for going on 24 years. 888 Car Clinic is the number for you to call. It's a caller-driven, interactive automotive program, and I share with you information and buzzwords, primarily here to help you better understand the nature of the car that you drive. I started to say beast, and it can be a beast. They can be a beast for you, and then when you take the car into a shop, it's mismanners. I don't know why cars do that, but of course that does happen. But Kim will take your call at 888-227-2546 and put you in the queue, and I will put you on the air. I'm going to go to Ray first because he's been there for some time. But before, last evening, from 6 to 9 p.m. at Cobo Hall in Detroit was the North American International Auto Show premiere. It's a preview, and it was a black tie event, and primarily to raise money for kids and charities for kids, and also to add some pomp and circumstance and excitement to the North American International Auto Show. Of course, for me, the cars would do that. As I understand, there were like 5,000 bottles of champagne. They sold 13,350 tickets at $400 a piece, of which $390 goes to kids' charities. That was $5.34 million. Steve Miller Band was there, and of course Ford Motor Company President and CEO Mark Fields, GM CEO Mary Barra, Ford Chairman Bill Ford, U.S. Senator Gary Peters, and Detroit Mayor Mike Dugan, just to name a few of the 13,000 plus folks were there, and every car line you could think of was there. And earlier this week, we had an opportunity to talk with some of the executives who were there. Christiana, who is our Car Clinic production manager, was able to spend some time as I had other duties, and we'll air those for you a little bit later on. But right now, let's go to Louisiana and talk with Ray. Ray, thanks for holding. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hello.
Good morning, sir. You're on the air.
Oh, hey, Bobby.
Hey.
I'm from central Louisiana.
Right.
I have a 97 Chevrolet pickup truck, Z71.
Yes, sir.
And when you'd crank it, the headlights would come on, and when I'd open my door, my cargo light would come on,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't do it anymore.
Well, okay. What if you open? Let's see. You open the driver's door; those lights would come on. The cargo light would come on. Have you tried opening the passenger's door to see if it would trigger that light? Or
yes, I tried both. I tried both doors, and
okay.
I even have juice going to the cargo light, and it doesn't light.
Well, if you have, how did you check power? Did you go to the cargo light and take the bulb out and see if you had power there? Is that what you did? Right.
And like when I crank the truck, it has a little indicator on the dash.
Yes, sir.
That says and the indicator for the headlights, it comes on.
Right.
The headlights don't light.
Well, here's the number one rule with regard to electrical shorts or opens or bad corroded circuit boards or wires that are damaged or switches that, and I'm going through a litany of electrical components that all have to do with what you're talking about, relays. You've got to have a roadmap. And Ray, in our service shop, if we're working on a 97 Chevrolet truck, we pull out the wiring diagram for the 97 Chevrolet truck, and we look at the source of the power. So unless you have, there are meters of wires, just feet, hundreds of feet of wire behind that dash, and you really don't care. All you want to know is the wire that feeds that light and feeds the running lights too. But you got to have a wiring diagram in order to go there. So So for you, this could be simple, but it can only be simple to have a technician. Do you have a regular shop that you trust and that you know a technician in a regular shop?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to encourage you to call that shop and to take your vehicle there. But first, here's a buzzword for you. And I mentioned at the open of the program, what I love to do is to give buzzwords. You want to ask the question of your shop. And you know, you may have used this shop for years and years and years, but you want to ask them specifically if they have the wiring schematic, the diagram for your 97 model Chevrolet truck. And if they don't have that schematic, then they would be not as lost as you, but they would be just as lost as anyone else trying to find an address when you don't know where the street markers are. And that's exactly what it's going to take. And that street marker is the wiring diagram. You got it?
Yeah, I thought it might have been just a ground problem.
Well, wait. You're right. You're right. It could be just a ground problem. Where? I mean, you know, it could be just a power. It could be a blown fuse, or it could be a fuse connector. But where? So how do you? I mean, it being electrical problems can really be. Here's what I say, Ray. What you have is a needle in a haystack, and the size of the needle can or cannot be very small with a huge haystack, or you could have an easy fix. And I would say, given the fact that it's a pickup truck, it's going to be easier than if it were, say, a Mercedes or a later model vehicle, luxury vehicle, or even a later model vehicle that has all the electrical body control modules and components, because your 97 Chevrolet truck doesn't have all the components that, I mean, their average car today has 25 black boxes in it. And so when you turn the lights on, you don't really turn the lights on. You just send a request to the black box. Okay, I'd like for the lights to be on, and the black box connects the battery to the lights. So you can check the switches and the normal norms as you and I would think, but that's not what it's all about. Hey, thanks for your call. By the way, years ago, what part of Louisiana are you calling from?
Central Louisiana, a little north of Lafayette.
I got it. Years ago, I had the opportunity to take my rear-engine drag race car to Houma and race.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, we did a trial run, as you do in drag race cars, and this gentleman came over and he looked at me and he said, and he with his dialect like you, he said you better take that car home. You didn't brung enough. And I said, what? He said, you didn't brung enough. And he was in my class, and which meant that I wasn't fast enough, and I may as well load it back on the trailer and take it home because he was going to outrun me. Mm-hmm. And so we did our first round, and we won our first round, not against him, but against another car, and we broke. So we're over there working on the car to get it ready because he was up next. And guess what? This gentleman from Houma, Louisiana, came over to my pit area and said, hey, well, you got a problem? I said, yeah, we're working on the car. We got to put a clutch in it. He said, do you need any help? He said, I'm going to beat you. He said, but I don't want to beat you because you don't make the starting line. So I'll never forget that. And that gentleman that told me to load my car up and go home was the same guy that came over to help me so he could outrun me and do it the right way. So hats off to the folks in Houma.
Yeah, he wanted to beat you fair and square.
Oh, fair and square. Yeah, it was. Hey, Ray, thanks for calling, my friend.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye now. Good luck. KNSI 1450 AM in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Bob Layton and Bob Hughes, General Manager and Program Director. If that's your neck of the woods, let us hear from you at 888 Car Clinic, 888-227-2546. KNSI 1450 AM, St. Cloud, Minnesota. Okay, we will take a call from Joe. Joe, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. You have input. Oh, this is cool, Joe. Glad you heard the caller about the cargo light, so you have information for us.
Well, I think I do.
Well, good.
On my 2000 Chevrolet pickup, which his is a 97, mine's 2000, I always park my truck facing the neighbor's window across the way, and it always bothered me when I'd start the truck, the lights would come on automatically and shine right in his window in the early morning. And I found that there's a dome override switch right there where you can turn your lights on manually if you wanted to. Little button. You can punch that a couple of times, and it'll turn your headlights off. And you can punch it another time or two, and it'll turn off the inside dome light also. And I've noticed on my truck that when I've got that in a certain configuration, I'll open the door, and the dome light doesn't come on. And I wonder if that might be his problem. You'll have to experiment with that little dome override button.
Maybe. I think that's a great input, and I really appreciate that. We had a gentleman who came in one time. We had worked on his car, and he came back and he said, well, since you worked on my car, cruise control doesn't work. And lo and behold, there was a cruise control override switch on the dash panel, on the console. And the same thing is true. Hey, Joe, thanks for calling, folks. Take a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back. Don't let old man winter keep you indoors this season. Let General's Ultimax Arctic make anywhere possible, no matter the weather. The Ultimax Arctic features unique grooves and sipes, maximizing snow, ice, and wet traction in all directions. While its modern compound offers outstanding performance in low temperatures, it's the perfect tire to get you where you need to go this winter. Tweet us photos of your winter adventures at General Tire. Hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
My car's a sauna. What's with this air conditioning?
You need an AC Pro.
Know any?
Yeah, you.
You got me confused with somebody else.
You're a pro with new do-it-yourself AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution.
But
You know where to find the hood?
That thing up front?
Exactly. AC Pro's easy, fast, and saves you money. You'll have your car's AC blowing cold air in minutes.
I did it! It's like a freezer in here.
Be a pro with new AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution.
Got a sweater?
I'm Bobby Likis with today's Engine Care Spotlight, brought to you by CRC Industries. Things just work better when they're clean, and your car's engine is no exception. You can't stop carbon in the fuel system because it's a byproduct of combustion, but you can limit and reduce the number of carbon deposits on your intake valves, piston heads, cylinder walls, and injectors. Adding CRC motor treatment to your fuel cleans these engine components and lubricates upper cylinders, helping cure hesitation and pings, and also restores power. Keeping your fuel system clean is only part of the solution. Stop-and-go driving, dirt, moisture, and extreme operating temperatures can cause sludge buildup in your motor oil and ultimately lead to power and performance loss. So adding CRC motor treatment to your oil will help liquefy built-up gum and varnish, cleaning sticky valve lifters and piston rings very slowly during engine operation to prevent chunks of sludge from clogging oil flow. Find more automotive maintenance solutions at crcindustries.com or find them on Facebook.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Live from Progressive. Flo here. Today we're talking to newlyweds.
Hi, my husband and I are combining our policies, and my mother-in-law says we can save with Progressive.
Well, with online, homeowners, and multi-car discounts, saving on car insurance is easy.
So you're saying she's right?
I'm saying get used to it.
Get great savings and more at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Mayfield Village, Ohio. Discounts not available in all states. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Mikey steals the tissue. He breaks right. Now left. Clock says 3 a.m. He shoots the tissue and off the lamp and into the basket.
Cold symptoms keeping you from getting a good night's sleep? Get NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever so you can sleep better to feel better medicine. Use as directed.
Go to sleep.
Uh-oh. There's a heckler in the crowd.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for tuning in today. You can catch our program at your local AM and or FM station from 10 till noon every Saturday, 10 till noon Eastern time, that is. Also, you can catch us at Watch Bobby Live from anywhere in the world at watchbobbylive.com. So I'll wave to the camera. That's an all-digital global cast in full screen, true HD, and it's 100% ad-free. So if you're listening to a caller, the caller doesn't get interrupted, and we have to thank Google for that and YouTube as we're partnered with them to bring to you this HD broadcast. As you know, I've mentioned and talked about the North American International Auto Show in Detroit. Christiani, that's Car Clinic's production manager, and I recently spoke with some folks at the Chevrolet. In fact, we spoke with the GM's Darren Jesse, a Chevrolet Volt product manager, live from the North American International Auto Show. We're going to hear that conversation shortly. Also, we have sort of a surprise today because Jim from Detroit is on his way to the show as we speak, and he's going to share with us some of the sights and sounds that he'll see at the show. So that's going to be interesting to have a sort of a roving reporter live from the Cobo Hall there in Detroit. But first, patient individual, let's go to John, who has a 2014 Cadillac, and he's got a question about the suspension or how it drives. John, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, sir.
I got a question. We have a 2014 Cadillac, and it was hit in the side passenger doors, and they brought it to the body shop, and they had to replace the doors, and the post was fine. I had the wheels on and whatnot.
John, you know, I'm going to. That's okay. Wait, folks. I'm going to ask you to use your phone versus a speaker phone because it's hard. There's a lot of latency there. So if you wouldn't mind to pick up your phone, I could hear you much better, sir, and so could our folks and listeners. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was hitting the passenger side doors.
Okay.
They replaced the doors. The post was fine. They didn't pull it. After I got done, I had the wheels unwind. If I'm driving on rough pavement, it gets a sway back and forth on the car. You get on a smooth highway, you don't feel it. Once in a while, you do get it, but it's not prevalent. You have any idea what to look for?
Well, I'm not sure that have you had it to a dealer? It's a 2014 car, and have you taken a technician for a ride, and do they agree that their car is abnormal?
No, but the wheel, they were mind the wheel when I told them that it has a sway in it.
See, my concern
is it's not from the wheels. He says the wheels are balanced and there shouldn't be any problems.
Well, here's what needs to be done because, as I understand, if you folks just tuned in, John's got a 2014 Cadillac and he was involved in an accident and they replaced, and it was just a door. It wasn't a major crunch, right?
Right.
Okay. So that's a nit. That really is. Even if they replace the door on the car, that's not going to affect the suspension in the big scheme of things. And even if it did, those cars can be fixed. I've seen that. I've seen it recently. In fact, just recently, we had, believe it or not, a 2006 Dodge diesel, huge vehicle. And the insurance company spent a total of $20,000 to repair this major damage on this collision, and did not total the vehicle. I was blown away, and this vehicle has 200,000 miles on it. But that's another story. But that's a true story. Just this week, we did some inspections on that vehicle, and it was really well repaired. It was almost as new, I'll tell you. But getting back to your vehicle, here's what I recommend you do. I recommend two things. I recommend you take someone at the dealership for a ride and illustrate and go over the same roads. So if you have to choose your road that makes this really apparent, please do so before you put them in the car because you want to go on the same circumstances and the same road. That's number one.
Right.
And then you drive. Don't let them drive. You drive, and then after you show them what the car is doing that you don't think is correct, you let them drive so they can get a feel of what you're feeling in the steering wheel and in the body. Even if they agree that, yeah, I feel something here, let them drive. And then then you'll be on the same page. Now, let's just say for this scenario that doesn't work, that they say, well, it's normal. Then what I want you to do, at the dealership is to drive another 2014 or a 15, same type of vehicle, and see if you experience the same sway in that vehicle that you're feeling in yours, because you need to know if it's the car's problem or if it's a John problem. And then if it's a car problem, somebody needs to fix it. Do you understand where I'm going?
Yes.
Okay.
The wheel alignment guy did suggest to check the motor mounts. He believes as you're accelerating, decelerating, there might be a problem with the motor mount, and that might be what's causing you to swing.
No, I just don't agree with all that. I mean, it could be a dozen. It can be a dozen things. See, here's the bottom line. You're not on the same page with these folks, and you got a 24. How many miles on the car?
12.
It's new.
12,000.
It's new. It should drive as new. So maybe you need to drive another new 12,000-mile 14 Cadillac or a 15 of the same make. There's not a lot of change in the suspension. I'm sure. Make sure that you get that your test car, quote unquote, doesn't have some electronic suspension that your car doesn't have, and make sure it's the same like vehicle. And then whether it's a 15 or a 14 or a used 14 off a lot somewhere. But if you're not comfortable driving this car, which obviously you are not, then you're going to have a miserable ownership of this vehicle. And to that end, my heart goes out to you, because that doesn't work for me, and it shouldn't. And I imagine it's not going to work for you.
Let me ask you one question. 5 years ago, whatever, I had a car, and I was driving. I got the same type of sway, and it seemed like the thread separated from the base of the tire. Okay, so when I got it in, we looked at it, and you could see that and I got that same sway from that tire being separated, the thread being separated from the tire. But I'll have it checked out.
Do that. And again, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're on the same page and that they agree that you've got a problem, because what you don't need is, you check the mounts and check the differential, check the tires. I mean, you could check, and then 2 months from now you call me and, Bobby, I'm going insane. This car's driving me crazy because it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and that just doesn't work. So you got to get on the same page, and so they have to feel what you feel in your car, and believe it or not, John, how important this is. You can't believe the numbers of people who don't know to do this action to take, and this being to be included in the car repair, automotive repair. Most people just come and say, my car is doing something it didn't do before, here, fix it for me. And then you call them and tell them what the estimate is, and they say, it needs all that. So the communication is what I'm talking of here and speaking of. So anyway, you go do it, and then you feel free to reach back to me with their comments after you've had this face-to-face with the powers to be, and then I will help you take next steps.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Folks, I want to share with you a new product line that I've just learned of from WD-40. It's the WD-40 Specialists. And one example is the electrical contact cleaner spray that has a patented, and I love this part about WD-40, the Smart Straw technology. You can blast away oil and dirt and condensation from sensitive electronics and electrical equipment. And the Smart Straw technology is really cool. You can fold the straw down and it has a nice spray, or you can point it out and it's just like a water hose when you're washing your car. And WD-40's electrical contact cleaner spray dries really quickly. It leaves no residue, removes soil, making it the best of cleaning with regard to electrical contacts. It's safe to use on printed circuit boards, controls, switches, precision instruments, and electric panels, and our Car Clinic technicians use it during check engine light test as well, just to confirm that there are good connections at relays and fuses and other very tender parts. It's a great product. It's a new product, and check out all the WD-40 Specialist products online at WD-40specialist.com. So here you go. Let's go to Jim. And Jim is on the way, and Jim is with us from the Detroit Automotive Show. Jim, have you arrived yet?
No, I haven't arrived. We're on the expressway right now, Bobby. And what I want to tell you, when I watched the review of the car show on TV locally, that the most interesting innovation is going to be fully shown today at the auto show. They can produce a full drivable car off a 3D printer, which sells $18,000 to $30,000.
Well, Jim, it's because you're in mobile, you're not coming through as clearly as you need to. So I'm gonna wait, and then when you get to your destination, we're going to hear more from you. You're obviously in your car, and folks, it's really this is really fun. It's fun for me, and I hope for you. And the information that we provide is going to help you as well, because the new cars that we hear about and that you hear about here on Bobby Likis Car Clinic are cars that hit the showroom floor, and one of them is the Bolt, not the Volt, but the Bolt. And the Bolt is a 200-mile range electric car from GM, and I got to tell you why GM went there. A couple of years ago, they really looked into the electrification of the fleet, as does Ford and all the manufacturers. And if you don't think electric cars are part of the future, the electric cars are here today, but they're going to be even more so. And it's going to be a while. Yes, it's going to take several years before we actually see numbers of electrical cars and EV cars because of the range and those sorts of things. That's why the Volt itself is I think, a great vehicle, because it has that extended range anxiety feature that's taken care of, because it has an internal combustion engine that charges the battery. So you can have your electrical drive, and then you can have your vehicle have an engine that charges the battery as you go. More information coming up. We're going to hear from the Detroit Auto Show. As I said, Christiani had interviewed and talked with some folks there. We're going to hear that. I don't have the time to play one for you at this particular time. We'll be taking calls at 888-227-2546. I do want to remind you and invite you to join us on our social media platform, facebook.com/Bobby Likis, and that's Likis, Twitter, Pinterest, and also new at Bobby Likis on Instagram. Check it out and hang around. I'll be back after this short commercial break and take your calls at 888 Car Clinic. Your car and your life have a lot of moving parts, and your car battery is what keeps it all going. Here's something to keep in mind. While all batteries may look the same on the outside, it's what's inside that matters. Be sure to choose a battery with PowerFrame technology inside. It's stronger, more durable, and keeps you going longer. That means you can count on a battery with PowerFrame to be there start after start. To find a retailer near you, visit PowerFrame.com. I'm Bobby Likis with today's Drive Smarter tip, brought to you by Escort, the world's best radar and laser detectors. Lime green and orange, not fashion shades, the color of car fluids on garage floors. Lime green says radiator coolant. Orange hints leaking transmission fluid. Catch these fluids on a newspaper and show them to your technician. This Drive Smarter tip is brought to you by Escort. Check out Escort's Drive into Summer event going on now through July 18. Don't just drive, drive smarter. Escort.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another great place to use Visa.
Is there anything more satisfying than watching a snowflake fall, gently carried by a delicate breeze to the welcoming earth, and then thrashing it on a ripping snowmobile? If you want to have fun in the snow, make tracks to Unicorn Expeditions in Lake Parlin, Maine, where the cabins are as cozy as the trails are smooth. But if you want to buzz the powder, you better bring your Visa card, because at Unicorn Expeditions, they take kindly to sled heads, but they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
So, how about you and I getting together?
I don't know. I have to get up early.
Mom, on the phone!
Oh, sorry, dear.
You live at home?
Looking for a home? Click on to Realtor.com and search over 1.3 million current home listings. Plus, you can find useful information on schools, financing, even take virtual tours. And when you're ready, you can click and connect with a realtor.
Hello? Are you still there?
Yes, dear, I'm right here.
Realtor.com. It's the place to start when you start looking for a home.
Hello once again, and welcome to How Stupid Can You Be? The show where folks tell us all about the outrageously stupid things they've done. Please join me in welcoming today's guest, Sarah. Now, Sarah, you're 23 years old, and you recently did something really stupid, didn't you?
Yes, I bought alcohol for my younger brother and his friends.
Wow, she bought alcohol for minors. That's one of the stupidest things anyone could ever do. Am I right, audience?
Of course I got caught, arrested, charged with a felony, and I could get up to 6 months in jail.
You tried to buy alcohol for minors, and all you got was trouble. That's all for now, folks. Coming up next, a man who performed his own root canal at home. How stupid is that?
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. Underage drinking. It's arresting behavior.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thank you for tuning in today. Every Saturday from 10 till noon right here on your local radio AM and or FM station and at watchbobbylive.com. As I mentioned, the North American International Auto Show is in full swing. And just last evening, they had a huge charity fundraiser that raised $5.34 million. There were 13,350 tickets that were sold, 5,000 bottles of champagne. But the bottom line is just more indication of how deeply our lives are entrenched as part of the automotive industry. And to that end, let's get back to the North American International Auto Show. Christiani, Car Clinic's production manager, and I've recently spoken with Darren Jesse, Chevrolet Volt product manager, live from the North American International Auto Show. Let's take a listen as Darren gives us the inside scoop on the Chevrolet Volt, and then we're going to go back to Jim, who is our roving reporter live on a better telephone connection. So let's hear from Darren Jesse.
Welcome to Car Clinic, Darren.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Darren, Chevrolet recently unveiled the all-new 2016 Volt electric car. What do you think sets this Volt apart from, say, the first-generation electric vehicle?
Well, the all-new 2016 model year Chevrolet Volt has been refined. We've basically taken the exterior and interior styling and from the ground up changed it to be a little bit more contemporary. I could say it's a little bit more conventional as well, not so quirky and not screaming that it's an electric car. It's just screaming that it's a gorgeous sports sedan. The styling has been influenced both by our customers, but also touches of muscular athlete and touches of windblown sands because it is a aerodynamic and efficient vehicle. We thought that the styling should feel like it was sculpted by the wind.
That sounds beautiful. And where are we with the charging process? Will this new Volt charge quicker and have a greater battery life?
It's not going to charge quicker, but it's going to charge easier. We've incorporated the basic GPS technology that we find on board vehicles today, but we're actually doing a little bit more with that information. We allow the vehicle to recognize when it is at the owner's home location, and therefore the owner can set predetermined preset preferences on their charging settings. That allows a homeowner, whenever they arrive at their home, the vehicle automatically selects those settings because it recognizes it's at its home location. And of course, whenever you're charging away from home, either at a work or a public station at a movie theater or a shopping mall, the vehicle recognizes that it's no longer at home, and therefore it has a different set of settings for charging from away. And essentially using that information that the vehicle already has established on board, it's making the whole charging process easier, no longer having to switch all your settings all the time.
I'm talking with Darren Jesse, product manager of the Chevrolet Volt from the North American International Auto Show. Darren, share with Car Clinic listeners and viewers a little about the 2016 Volt vehicle interior. What's been updated on that front?
So we've updated the interior on the 2016 model year Volt by making it a little bit more intuitive, a little bit more consumer friendly. The current generation Volt had a lot of technology, and we found that it was somewhat intimidating to some of the customers. We wanted to take that intimidation level down. We wanted to be a little bit more conventional, have some big knobs, have some really hard buttons, separate some of the controls between the infotainment and the climate control system. But we still wanted a little bit more technology touches in there than a conventional vehicle. So we do have some unique aspects, such as we have a bright blue cap on the shifter knob. It really signifies that it's a little bit different inside. It's a different vehicle, and we certainly wanted to broadcast that out.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our Car Clinic listeners and viewers about the 2016 Volt?
So the new 2016 Chevrolet Volt now has an increased EV range up to 50 miles of all-electric driving, and then it still has the gas-powered range-extending generator that allows the owner to drive the vehicle over 400 miles between fill-ups or recharging.
Well, again, Darren, thank you so much for being with us today, and we really appreciate your time.
Great. Thanks for having me.
400 miles. That's... Christiana, I did not know that 400 miles. And that's why it's called a range extender. One thing that I do know about that particular Volt is that they changed the engine on the next gen Volt that this gentleman was sharing with us, and it has from a 1.4 liter to a 1.5. But from a car standpoint, from a technology, the engine has 12.5 to 1 compression ratio. And to put that in perspective, a Muscle Era Corvette had 11 to 1. And this car has 12.5 to 1, and that's the generator engine. It's the internal combustion engine that drives the generator, and they're doing that so they can get more voltage, less vibration from the engine, a quieter running vehicle, and yet will charge the battery even more quickly as you're driving down the road to drive the vehicle. And let's go back to Michigan. And Jim is on the phone with us. And Jim, thank you so much for holding. You're most patient. And share with us a little bit of information there live from the North American International Auto Show in Cobo Hall.
I'm right in the Cobo Hall entrance store right now, Bobby. They are going to put $300 million into improvement. 200 of it has already been used. And as you enter the entrance right now, you see the difference. And that's why they're booking shows now a full 12 months of the year.
Wow. That's a huge investment. I understand that at the show, and like last night, they had the Detroit mayor, Mike Dugan, was, of course, I would imagine anyone that is in tune with progress in the automotive industry, which is a motor city, would have been at that event last night, which was a black tie event that raised money for charity. What have you seen so far? Have you looked at any particular automobiles?
Right now, my interest still is in the Bolt. I think it's a very sporty, flashy car. All the women I know like it. They find it's a seller for them, and it's certainly a seller for the guys. So you're getting both men and women interested, so they've done it right.
The GM came out with that Volt to start with. It was a bit pricey, and they came out with a Cadillac ELR, which was even more pricey. And it just appears now that through the experience and over the last couple of years that they really are in tune. And now they have, I'm not sure if while you're there, please check out the Bolt, B as in Bobby, the Bolt, which is a $30,000 200-mile range EV vehicle. Have you seen that vehicle yet?
No, I haven't, Bobby. As soon as I get into the area, and if there's not time on your show, I will send you a video disc back where you can put it on your site, what I find out.
Fantastic, fantastic. So where do you live in Michigan, Jim?
I live in the suburb of Westline, which is about 20 miles out of Detroit.
And how many shows have you been to in your life?
I've probably been to at least a dozen. My son gets prime recognition. We go to pass a GM exhibit with a crowd. They push us right at the front of the line. So that's another reason I don't want to miss.
Oh, well, it pays to be connected to the inside, right?
Right, and I feel well connected when I speak to you and tell my friends all about your great show.
Well, I thank you so much. You're most kind, and I appreciate that. And what we'll do, folks, and for those of you tuned in to watch Bobby Live, and also throughout the week on our website, Jim, please do send to us any video that you get, and we will share that with Car Clinic listeners and viewers at watchbobbylive.com. And I want to thank you for taking the time and for hanging in there with your phone and joining us today on Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
My pleasure always, Bobby. You always are a good friend.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Take care and send video, send pictures.
You got it.
Bye-bye. Nice gentleman. Richard, take a... and now, we had a gentleman that called, had a 2014 Cadillac that had a sway in it, and Richard is calling, and he thinks he has an answer. So, Richard, can you help us out there? Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Bobby. Listen, I was listening to that, and right away I thought about sway bar pin that was maybe broke. But then I'm thinking back, since 2011, I've been going with these tires. and you won't believe what I've gone through with these tires. But he needs to take the car to a place that has a road machine. They take the whole wheel off, and they put this on this machine, and it runs for, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes, and it tells them exactly what's going on with that tire.
You're talking about road force.
How bad it is.
Yes.
Tires, GM doesn't do anything with the tires until they get up around 24 on that machine. But the last vehicle I had, I got rid of because of the tires.
Wow.
I had 3 out of 4 tires that were bad on that car. And one tire, it made the thing drift off the road to the left instead of the right. And all they did was switch the 2 front wheels around, put the left one on the right and the right one on the left, and then it drifted off the road to the right.
I'll be darned. Yeah, you make a good point there. And folks, in all my years, and think about this. Here's a car, as Richard mentions, and thank you, Richard, so much for your input, that an owner is not. Put yourself in the owner's. He has a 2014 Cadillac, and just doesn't drive right. And it could be a simple set of tires that would correct that problem. And the road force methodology of checking tires is certainly exactly what, and Richard, thank you for that call and thank you for that information. It could well be just a simple set of tires. Okay, I want to share with you another bit of information from the North American International Auto Show. These are about new cars. Again, let's get back to the North American International Auto Show with Christiana.
Welcome to Car Clinic, Jim.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be on.
Jim, share with Car Clinic audiences a little about the evolution of the CTS and the V Performance lineup and where we are today.
You know, this new introduction of the CTS V is really the 3rd generation of the V series. And, you know, we started back in 2004 with the 1st generation. And we always like to say to everybody is, you know, nobody really asked us to do that car. In fact, it was quite a surprise that we would do a high-performance version. But we had a new rear-wheel drive platform, and it allowed us to do something like that. And, you know, we built some credibility, kind of got our foot in the door. And with the 2nd generation CTS, we upped the game, you know, with a 556 horsepower vehicle. And, you know, really people started to take notice, and we built the V brand. And as we got ready to introduce this vehicle, when we introduced the regular version CTS, everybody asked us, where's the V? Where's the V? And so we knew we were making progress along that front. And, you know, 556 horsepower is just not enough. So we had to introduce something with a 6 in front of it. And that's where we ended up with 640 horsepower. So
wow.
Each subsequent generation is just built and helped us build not only the V brand, but also help kind of establish Cadillac's performance credentials.
And with all that horsepower and torque and top speed of 200 miles per hour, who's the target demographic here? Luxury buyers, performance enthusiasts, or both?
It's really both. When you get into this segment, they're definitely performance enthusiasts. There's no doubt about it. But they're also no compromises. They want a luxury vehicle first and foremost. I mean, that's why they're buying this type of vehicle and maybe not, you know, a high-end sports car. They want the performance, but they also want it delivered in a luxury sedan. And, you know, that demographic is both. But the beauty of the buyer is that, you know, they tend to be younger and they tend to be more affluent. But more importantly, they tend to be the car people within their group of friends. So they're highly influential with even a broader audience. And that's why, you know, it helps us build credibility with the brand.
If you're just tuning in, I'm talking with Jim Verpalat, Cadillac Marketing Director from the North American International Auto Show. Jim, share with Car Clinic listeners and viewers what sets this performance sedan, the CTS-V, apart from the competition.
Well, what we always like to say is that the V-Series deliver performance without punishment, and that's a nice way of saying that it really does have a dual personality. It's a great performing vehicle. I mean, there's no doubt when you look at, you know, those performance specs and the capability of being able to take it to the track right from the dealership. But really what sets it apart from its competition is it's so great to drive on a daily basis. This is a car that's not going to burden you with too much technology. It's not going to be overly stiff and maybe not comfortable to drive on short trips or long hauls. So it's really very bimodal. It's a great daily driver, but it's this amazing performance machine. And that's kind of the uniqueness of V.
Let's talk about the interior of the vehicle and the technology. Will this be a connected car?
Oh, absolutely. All of our vehicles at Cadillac now have 4G LTE capability, Wi-Fi hotspot capability. But in the interior for the V, we wanted to carry forward that performance kind of, that you're in a performance vehicle. So interior trim, there's a lot of carbon fiber, suede accents, seats that wrap around you. We have an optional high-performance Recaro seat. But we've got some fun technology that we've added in. There's a performance data recorder, which basically allows you, if you're at a track day and you want to kind of film yourself, you basically can turn it on. It's a camera that shoots forward, but it records all the data, your top speed, your braking, your Gs, your lap times, and you basically have the ability to play it back and kind of become a better driver. So we've loaded it with a lot of, I'll call it performance cues and technology.
And where can people go if they want to learn more about the CTS-V?
Well, the simplest place is Cadillac.com. As we've introduced the vehicle, the site's gone live with a lot of information, great photography of the V, great technical specs, and best thing for them to do is sign up for more information because, it's January, this will come out in the summer, and as we get closer to production, more and more information gets loaded onto the site, and then, a few months before production starts, you'll be able to order your V online or dialogue with a dealer, so the best place to go is Cadillac.com.
Great. Well, Jim, thank you again for being here with Car Clinic and introducing us to this new exciting sedan you have coming out.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you having us on today.
How cool is that? Now, it's 640 horsepower in a Cadillac, the V brand. And folks, you're hearing interviews and information that comes from us through the North American International Auto Show, which is in full swing today. And it's just unbelievable at the numbers of new cars and the technology. And you would say, well, Cadillac with 640 horsepower? Really? Really? And then it has that data recorder, and then it has the performance recorder so that you can measure maybe drag racing times or whatever that you really need. It's very interesting to me, and I would hope to you. Set your calendars for 10 till noon Eastern Time, Bobby Likis Car Clinic, and join us next week, Bobby Likis Car Clinic. In the meantime, we've got a new sweepstakes coming up. You'll be interested in that. But like us on Facebook. That's Bobby Likis, Likis. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you had a great time. I'll see you same time, same station next week. Like us, you'll love us.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. We Americans are outspoken when it comes to choice, whether it's menu selections or political elections. So why not at the pump? E15 and E85 provide an American-sourced alternative for vehicle model years 2001 and later and flex fuel vehicles, respectively. Opponents claim that drivers will be confused at the pump. This objection is confusing, as drivers have historically chosen among at least 3 different octanes and diesel. In fact, studies show that Americans do want a choice at the pump by a 3-to-1 margin. In the future, choices will be technology-enabled by innovative blender pumps, which will energize retailers and empower consumers to tailor their fueling options to include the ethanol level best suited to their need. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Drive to ethanolrfa.org.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Driving a cab in this town can drive you nuts. It's like hurry up and wait. Last week, I'm stuck behind a bus on Broadway when that pastrami on ride catches up with me. Ooh, heartburn big time. Guy in the back seat says, "Here, take a Zantac 75. I say, "What are you, a doctor?" And he says, "Yeah."
Zantac 75 relieves heartburn anywhere, anytime.
A real gentleman, that doctor.
Zantac 75, the heartburn relief doctors trust.
Sweetie, this wedding reception will need an elegant dessert.
What do you think about the caramel flan?
Darling, I think it'd be perfect, but please, dear, it's caramel flan.
Mother, I really think it's caramel.
It's caramel.
A lot of people call it caramel.
Yes, if you keep a sofa on your porch like your fiancé. We might as well serve kamikaze shots.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
That makes a Milky Way great.